great celebration. We are happy to be with you this evening to celebrate this wonderful group of students. First up, please give your attention, and I have to just remind myself, please silence your cell phones. I just got my first to do mine. And we are starting off the evening with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mrs. Kelly.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are happy to have as a guest of honor this evening our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Butte, who has some words for us. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, students and parents and family members, friends of our 8th grade graduates here. I walked in today and I went to Mr. Serino's office and said, this looks more like a prom at the high school than a graduation. And he shared that you have a dance afterwards, which I think is awesome. Mr. Serino's teaching to the last bell here, isn't he? He certainly is. So, hey, I'm going to apologize as I get going, although you are going to enjoy this because I'm speaking at John Clem Elementary at 6:30. And what part you're going to enjoy is you're not going to have a long speaker tonight, which I know the gym I'm standing in kind of doesn't set very well. But I can listen to Mr. Serino speak for hours. But and we have, yes, thank you. It's all good though. Appreciate our students here. I was driving down here thinking, this is a group of students that came in here, and it's great because a lot of us have been around long enough to see them come out of elementary school and into middle school and watch them go through a 10-point value system. And one of my favorite parts at the beginning of the year is I come down, Mr. Serino has me come down, and we go classroom to classroom as the kids recite some core values that make this building what it is today. And not only from a behavior standpoint, which it certainly does lead into the academic group, but this group to the right and left of me is a group who helped lead this building into an academic achievement of getting every indicator on our grade cards. So let's give them a hand for that. I think that's awesome. But as you know, in our district, if you've been in this building, you know that we are a lot more than a grade card. So many other good things going on here. And I want our students just to step back tonight. It's that time of the year, I ask our staff a lot of times, hey, step back and reflect on this past year. Step back and reflect on the last 3 years in this building. And you come out of Hillview or Carson Elementary, most of you, and step back and reflect on who you were as an elementary student and how you got to be such a great leader here as an 8th grader. And I'm going to challenge you now. Your stepping back is done. Now we're going to look forward. We're going to look forward into Newark High School. We have an awesome district here. The reason we do is because we have great leadership from our students. Into August, you're going to step into the high school, and we do, students, if you don't know this, I think you probably do, parents, if you don't know this, the first day of school at Newark, our freshmen are the only ones on campus at the high school. That gives them a little bit of chance to walk with a little bit of catitude up there, right? You have attitude, we have catitude here in Newark. And get yourself around that building a little bit, see what it's all about, get to know the staff, get comfortable, and so that you can step right in here and be a leader of the freshman class. Some of our best leaders at that high school, Jordan Dardis, Kim Royster, were sitting here 3 years ago. Both those two, and they're not the only two leaders, but I've noticed at the high school, kids that come out of Heritage, you know, have learned how to behave and how to be a good student and how to be a good leader. And I appreciate that. I'm going to challenge you to do that because our high school is awesome right now. Academic achievements way up, beautiful building, great behavior. And it's because of the things that we're doing in the elementary and middle school that lead into that. And so I know if you can follow, if you can live strong and live smart at Heritage Middle School, you can live strong and live smart at the high school there. And then another thing I want to tell you, I'm going to ask Mr. Serino to stand up. I'm going to keep chairs in front of us here, Mr. Serino. Would you please stand up? And I want our students to look at Mr. Serino here. Okay? One of the things that I love about Mr. Serino is his passion. And it doesn't matter if you're in your 37th year of education, if you're an 8th grader at Newark City Schools, going to be a freshman, you've got to have some passion and dedicate yourself. That Mr. Serino has had passion for the Newark City Schools and the students at Heritage Middle School. And all of us know he's going to be leaving us. But I guarantee you this, he's going to be talking to me. He's going to be asking me how his kids are doing. Because you ask me that now, how's my kids doing in high school? How are we doing in high school? And I want everybody to stand up and give this man, show this man some love here for what he's done for us. Point being, and I love to sit and talk to Mr. Serino. We always start talking about old coaching days and athletic days and things like that, and he definitely reflects back into his past when he was in schools and who influenced him. I'm standing here today because I had a lot of good leaders, but I had an opportunity to be in their class or participate in an athletic event. A lot of coaches that influenced me today to be where I'm at. And I want you to keep Mr. Serino, and I know you will. You'll keep Mr. Serino in his passion and his love of what he does, because everything he does is passionate. Correct? You know, Mr. Serino's a pretty passionate guy, isn't he? He's probably going to be doing some breakdancing down the hall tonight, down there. But I appreciate who you are and what you've done here at Heritage, and I'm asking you to step it up at the high school and be a good leader. Lead our district. And so we look around in 3 or 4 years. We just had graduation Saturday morning up there. So we look around in 4 years, you come across the stage and shake your hand. I want to remember this young lady right here in the middle. Stand up. I remember you at Carson Elementary School. And one of the things that I remember about you down there is how good-natured you are, and you've got a big heart, don't you? You do. And I want to shake your hand in 4 years and see you. I've watched you mature. Thanks for standing. Let's give her a hand. And so with that being said, enjoy your summer. Oh, I want to do one more thing before I go. How long does it take? Is there any other police officers in here? Get me to Johnny Clinton real quick. Get out of here. I do want to talk to you parents, grandparents, students. We are, one of my top goals, my top goal right now is student engagement. I want every child in our district to be involved in something. And when I think back through, when I think about our school, the things that we offer from a fine arts standpoint, band, choir, orchestra, plays, all those things, from athletic events, everything up through. And I'm going to share this with parents. The number one cause of failure, of not graduating, is student engagement. If you're not engaged in something, the likelihood that you will fail. And I could go through a list of students who did not make it this year, because we just did this morning downtown. We're not engaged in any activity. And so you keep that in mind for your child. And if you're involved in a sport or band, music, choir, anything, I want you to stand up if you're in this class. If you're involved in any of those things. Yeah. Anybody want to be in a sitting down, you stand up for that one. Okay, have a seat, please. But you can see, not every child stood up. That's our goal. And I want to thank Mr. Blind. I don't want to embarrass you. Our board president, Tom, would you please stand for a second? Let's recognize Tom and his work on the board. I have Tom stand up because in the Newark City schools, we don't have an activity fee. And I challenge you, ask your cousins and family members or friends in other districts. They're charging students sometimes $400, $500, $600 to participate. And our board recognized and took on the challenge of saying, we're not charging anything to get our kids out for stuff. And so, Tom, we appreciate that from our staff. If you're not engaged in something, if your child did not stand up, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, but you think about that and how if we get them engaged in something. We've got a great ROTC program, we've got great athletics, we've got wonderful fine arts programs. There's a lot of things for our students to be involved in. So, that being said, I apologize for running. I got to get over and talk to some fifth graders. But Mr. Serino, I appreciate the opportunity to come over and speak. And I've learned so much from you the last 5 years. I love you a lot, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Butte. And now we have some short remarks from Mr. Serino.
Well, first thing I told my wife tonight, I said, now I've been saying goodbye for 3 weeks, and they wouldn't let me sneak out the back door like I planned in June. They just wouldn't let me do that. And I said, so for 3 weeks I've been saying goodbye and I've been crying. And I said, but tonight you're not going to make me cry. They're just not, okay? And so then, of course, you guys have to show me your love and compassion, and it brings tears to my eyes. Tonight, okay, tonight is for you. I already told the kids that, okay? Now, the kids, they're kids. They think tonight's for their night. No, their night's down the hall. Their night's when they get to dance and sing and laugh. Tonight is for the loved ones. Tonight's for everybody to be packed in here. I knew we were going to be overcrowded. I knew it. I knew it in my heart. I moved the Christmas concert, the holiday concert up to the high school so you could have more room to move around and get a little bit more air in. I wanted you to be comfortable and enjoy that. Then we moved one of the awards assembly up there last week, and and again tried to give you some room to move around. But I couldn't in my heart move to graduation. This is their school. This is your school, okay? And it's about you and your kids tonight. Give yourself a round of applause, please. The reason I want to do that, and I stopped short of telling the kids, okay, that I know, being a parent and grandparent, I know what it's like. When you sit in the audience, you have flashbacks. Everybody's in here. You're thinking about the first time you held their hand, and you took them to preschool and kindergarten. When you took them to elementary, and your heart was beating. You don't know how many parents I've talked to and grandparents that squeeze my hand and my arm. Say, Tom, we were so scared. We were so worried, okay? And that's why we put all these things up and we live it every day. Because we're going to have a healthy, happy, safe environment. And then we're going to educate your children. But first, we're going to create a school culture and climate. It's funny that some of the things that Mr. Ute said, all right? When I took over, it was out of an emergency situation. The principal walked away. The principal walked away. It was August. Do you want or you don't? I got a phone call. Took the job over the telephone. Went to my wife. She'd been here for 11 years. I said, what do you think, honey? She says, take it. Just take it and go in there and let the kids do what you do. When I went down there, the building was horrible. You know why I get like I get? You know why you get so passionate? And you know why I cry? I don't want to tell you guys, just in case the guys are looking at me fishy. Dick Vermeil and Coach Walsh, two football Hall of Fame coaches and Super Bowl coaches, they could not talk at the press conferences after tough games because they loved their team so much they couldn't hold it back. And then they start crying or get tears in their eyes. And that's how I feel when I talk to you people. because I know the love you have. I know the passion you have. And when I went to Lincoln, it was deplorable. And I told my wife, something's got to change. And slowly but surely, and one of the first kids that called me on it, two things happened. One of the first things that happened, and a kid came to see me tonight. I'm sitting in my office, my wife and I by ourselves. We're sitting there. She's been with me for over 30 years now. She's always in the background, always making sure. She bought the shirt and tie leaves. You know she's doing tie leaves. I had no idea, okay? All right, she said, no, you're going to look pretty in blue. This is what you wear. I said, okay. All right. So anyway, she's always there with me. One of my secretaries comes to me and he said, Tom, you have a former student that would like to put their head and say hi. Now you tell me how this makes, is this coincidence or is it God-given? It was the kid that got me to stay. I was in one of those moods and I was ripping everybody. My tie was crooked. I was hot and sweaty. The ceiling was falling in. I packed 25 kids in a timeout room, which is the old home ec room, which had 2 washing machines packed on top of each other, leaking, two refrigerators leaking out the bottom, and please draw on the counter. So I'm already ticked, right? So I walk in there and I tell the kids, you know better than this. You know how to behave. You're good kids. You can be good. We shouldn't have a timeout room this full. And one of the little boys with his elbows on his knees looked up at me and said, and I looked at him and I said, Patrick, and especially you know better. You're a good kid. You shouldn't be in timeout room. I went to walk away and I went to walk out the door and he looked at me and he said, hey, Mr. Serino. And I stopped and I turned around, eyes all crooked, and I went, yeah, what? He said, you want to stay? And I looked at Stock. You want to stay? Oh boy, there was the question. Because I was just supposed to be temporary. I was just supposed to be filling in. So I looked at him and I said, yeah, I'm going to stay, Patrick. You better believe I'm going to stay. Why do you ask? And he hit me in the heart and said, because nobody stays. And I said, well, you got me now. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. I never let him go outside. Because outside, if you remember Lincoln Building, there was a front yard. I call it the front yard. There was no playground. There's a front yard, a sidewalk, and a street. And I was scared to death that the little kids were going to run out in the street and get hit by a car and run over. See, I always tell my staff, right now we are the largest middle school around. We have 570 kids. Yeah. And I tell my staff, when we have a tornado drill or a fire drill or we have whatever we have, we're going to save 507 kids. We're not going to save 569. That's unacceptable. We're going to save them all. So there we got these little kids. And they want to go outside and play. So all fall, I don't let them outside and play. I don't let them go. So we hit winter, and I'm happy it's winter because now I keep them in the cafeteria. Springtime rolls around. And they come, nice kids. Mr. Serino, please let us go outside. Now in my heart, I know what they don't have. I know they're being cheated. And I don't have a closing statement about what's fair. So I said, okay, just go out there and stay where I can see you. In my office, I'm looking out the window. I'm just keep on disciplining. I'm writing stuff and I'm watching them out the window. They're running out in the street. Of course they are. They're 12 years old. Okay, they're not going to listen. All right, so I go out and I stand on a curb. I stand on a true story. I stand on a curb and I'm doing this. Okay, and I got my whistle on my neck, And I watch a couple of kids go over to a trash can. A trash can. Now this is how I grew up. This is how I grew up. I grew up with holes in my jeans and my shoes and poverty. And so I'm standing there and you wonder why God put me here. I'm standing there and I watch them go over the trash can and they're digging through the trash can. Those kids dug out a plastic Coke bottle. An empty plastic Coke bottle, and that's what they were going to play with, and that was their football. And I told my wife, I've had it. This is not going to happen. So what we have out back, when I tell them, out back is yours. We've got the track, we've got soccer field, football field, baseball field, tetherball courts, volleyball courts. We got a track, we got a pavilion, and we got like 150 tables out there in a fire pit. That's yours. That's for you to use. We're not digging out of the trash can anymore. These kids aren't going to dig out of the trash can anymore. You've got a beautiful school, you've got a beautiful facility. You don't have to go over to Evans Field or Liberty. You've got it right. This is your school, your community. This is your neighborhood. And that's the way we're going to do it, and that's the way we're going to attack it. And our teachers sitting here today gave your kids good education, and I'll talk about a launching pad at the end. But I'm going to tell you, that's why I get fired up. That's why I cry. That's why I get after it. Because you and the kids deserve better. And now you have it. And now you have it. You have this, yours, it's your graduation.
Be so loud. That's a tough act to follow. We are very fortunate this evening to have some musical entertainment. We have combined band, choir, and orchestra going to sing a song that will probably make me cry. You raise me up. teaching team. I'm a team leader. I'm Mrs. Cousins. How many of you were my former students? That's awesome. Thank you. My fellow team leaders, Mrs. Justice, please stand up, Mrs. Justice. My fellow language arts teacher, Mrs. Kelly. The math department of Mrs. Justice and Ms. Villa and Mrs. Calvert. Specialists, we're losing it, I think. Ms. Duvall and Ms. Wells. And our science department, Ms. Schultz. At this time, we have some students who will be representing their class and speaking to the crowd. Our first speaker is Christian Davis.
Hi, my name is Christian Davis, and it's an honor to be speaking for the 8th grade graduation ceremony. When I first started middle school here at Heritage, I was scared. I was afraid the other kids wouldn't like me, or that I wouldn't fit in. Once I started, I realized Heritage is more than just a school. We're a family. Our school motto is one team, one heartbeat. One team, one heartbeat, to me, means we Lions are all in this together. It means that Heritage is more than just a grade card. Heritage is a home. A home is where you feel safe, where you have people who care about you and love you, a place to laugh. And most of all, where you know that you belong, and I know that I belong here. I'd like to personally thank the staff for teaching me such valuable lessons, such as responsibility, character, discipline, and respect. 8th grade has truly been a blast. But now it's time to get a bit more serious and become young adults. But always remember, once you're a Lion, you're always a Lion. OT? Always! Our next speaker will be Tor Thornton.
I walked in here an arrogant child. I was scared and afraid of the future, of change, of high school. But now I know I'm ready, and I'd like to thank the crazy, amazing teachers that got me here. First, I'd like to thank all my math teachers, because not one of them ever made me feel like a lost cause. And I'd like to deepen that in thanking Miss Justice. Nobody ever made me want to try as hard as she did. And my social studies teachers, they made every class fun. Even if in doing so, they had to rearrange their entire schedule. And in science class, thank you for reminding me every single day why science is my favorite subject. And in language arts, my teachers taught me that I'm better than I thought I was. In those classes, I learned that I would become a writer. And to Miss Kelly, thank you, because I didn't dare dream before I met you. And my homeroom teacher, Miss Cousins, thank you. You made me laugh early in the morning, and I know it couldn't have been easy. My teachers taught me what OTOH means. And Mr. Serena, you've taught me so many lessons these few years, I don't even know how to say thank you. But every time we wanted to give up, you were always there with a smile and a high five. And that was enough to get us through, enough to keep us going. And to this, I promise you that I will use every single lesson you have ever given me. And our last thanks, here's to us, the 8th graders. We did it. We're up another level in life. We go to high school next year, and we go as a team. OT? Always. Glory, glory. And our next presenter is Cassie Gorley.
Dictionary defines family as a group of people united by certain convictions or a common affiliation. While that may not be what you think of when you think of family, I do. When we arrived at Heritage as 6th graders, we were all the new kids. Even though most of us started out with a group of friends from elementary school, the first day of school was terrifying. Those first few weeks, I clung to my handful of friends for support. I thought I needed those friends to survive this big, scary building. I wasn't willing to make new friends, and I didn't want to like any of the staff. One team, one heartbeat. The first time I heard Mr. Sereno say it, I thought it was dumb. One team, one heartbeat. I've heard this hundreds of times in the last few years. I didn't want to believe it or care about it, but then my friends and I started to branch out. Every staff member and teacher I've had the pleasure of knowing has been kind and caring. As more time passed, I tried new things. I joined art club, choir, drama, and even tried a few other things. Without the confidence that the staff at Heritage Middle School instilled in me, I never would have tried anything new. Those of you who don't know me might not know that I like to talk all the time. For the teachers I frustrated, I'm sorry. But even though I know I wasn't the easiest kid to deal with, I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you for caring enough to discipline me when I was out of line, and thank you for never giving up on me. To the students, look to your left. Now look to your right. Is the person next to you the same person you thought was your BFF in 6th grade? If so, that's great. If not, that's okay too. We're all still learning, still growing, still changing. We've all made mistakes. We've all said things that we shouldn't have. As long as we follow the 10-point value system, we have no way left to go as up. As we close this chapter to begin the next one, I'm not afraid. I know it won't be easy. I know I'll stumble, but I know I will make it. I know this because even though I may never see him again, Mr. Sereno cares about me. He cares about all of us. I believe we've made him proud. I know he loves everyone in this building. Thank you, Mr. Sereno, for showing me that that family isn't just the people in your home, it's the people in your heart. We are one team, one heartbeat.
Please, let's give them another round. They were awesome in practice, and they were even more wonderful this evening. That's amazing. We now have time for our certificates, so music, please. Harrison Adams. Morgan Anderson. Cheyenne Arnett. Leanne Alt. Julianne Bailiff. Danara Barkas. Davina Barkas. Eden Barrett. Parker Barrett. Jaden Barchland. Kayla Beckett. Gabrielle Lavelle. Desiree Bender. Donald Butcher III. Madeline Blake. Lindsay Blevins. Leighton Bowen. McKenna Boley. Michaela Bonner. Emily Brooke. Emily Birch. Laura Burton. Kelsey Butler. Jade Clayton. Willow Cochran. Johnny Coleman. Tyler Collins. Corey Thompson. Tyler Cooperrider. Madison Portal. Nessa Daniels. Christian Davis. Jacob Dean. Trayvon Duvall. Tanner Bisponette. Trinity Dalla. Destiny Doyle. Brandon Dunlap. Colton Elliott. Jeremiah Dustin Evelyn. Lakeisha Farrell. Carlina Figueroa. Alyssa Ford. Cameron Bruin. Christopher Garvin. Aiden Gibson. Austin Gibson. Anissa Giffen. Aaron Gerard. Cassie Gorley. Hannah Gostru. Isaiah Green. Madison Guthrie. Tori Hacker. Nathaniel Hartman. Tequila Hofer. Devin Hughes. Jace Hughes. Byron Hunley. Cooper Jarrett. Austin Johnson. Jovion Johnson. Matthew Johnson. Charles Taylor. Chase Keene. Randy Kidd. Levita Kiner. Zoe Kitchen. Tristan Knotts. Alicia Lane. Blake Lane. Sydney Lannis. Hope Latimer. Lauren Long. Hillary Magana. Anthony Marshall. Michaela Mason. Ashley McElroy. Levi McKee. Kayla McKee. Morgan McMahon. Brian Metcalf. Mark Vick. Tyra Miller. Christopher Moats Jr. Tyler Mon. Ethan Montgomery. Chad Moore. Jarrett Moore. Dakota Moran. Caitlin Morris. Michaela Morris. Atlantis Moyer. Jared Nash. Cody Nelson. Morgan Norris. Zachary Oler. Jeremy Outland. Justin Outland. Elena Vegas. Rosalind Parker. Jordan Pastorius. Brittany Peters. Alexis Powelson. Chance Powers. Anthony Price. Madison Priest. Marley Pritchard. Austin Queen. Kalia Rector. Teddy Ridebaugh. Caleb Roberts. Richard Roberts. Adrian Rogers. Matthew Rollison. Bertrand Romine. Gavin Rose. William Russell. Paige Sadler. Justin Shemp. Mercedes Shorter. Michael Scott. Colton Schaefer. Selena Shern. Jed Sherrick. Judd Sherrick. Caitlin Shirky. Jay Shoemake. Desiree Whitcliffe. Haley Whitcliffe. William Wilson. Skylar Wayne. Deontay Woods. Nicholas Wright. Zach Wright. And last but never least, Austin Yantis.
Good job, Austin.
Would you please share with me in congratulating these wonderful group of 8th graders? Say that this is my 30th year of teaching, and I decided to go out on a high note. This is a wonderful, caring, and loving group of people. Thank you. Now we have a special award presentation of One Team, One Heartbeat.
Good evening, and thank you all for coming. We do have one special award tonight. Every year it seems like 8th grade graduation falls on a banquet called the Archie Griffin Sportsmanship Award. Tonight is that awards dinner, and that award is presented to one male and one female 8th grader from our school that displays leadership qualities, academically, behaviorally, socially, just an all-around great student athlete. This is an award that is given to all OCC member middle schools. So there are roughly 32 teams in the OCC, and then all of their middle schools that are involved with that each have one representative. Our two representatives, they chose to attend tonight's graduation, which is very similar to what kids have done in the past. But I did want to give them a little bit of special recognition tonight because I think they deserve it. So at this time, the female recipient of the Archie Griffin Sportsmanship Award goes to Eden Barrett. Eden, if you would come up. Second that. Great job, Lee. Thank you. Okay, and the 8th grade, the male winner of the Archie Griffin Memorial Scholarship goes to Chad Moore. Okay, at this time, I'm going to have Mr. Serino come back up and finish up with the One Team, One Heartbeat Award.
Thank you. What a great evening. We're going to do special awards. I'll do closing remarks. A couple little things I know that I'll forget once I get all fired up and get rolling. First of all, I love when you cheer. To me, you know, life's nothing but a pep rally, okay? I mean, you attack, you got want to cheer for your kids. You know, people always say, wait till the end before you applaud. Really? Really? I never got that, okay? You want to yell out for your kid? Yell out for your kid. You guys want to clap, clap. It's a good time. It's a celebration, and we love our kids. So don't never be afraid when you walk in a building, all right? You want to be happy tonight, you can be happy. Things that I might forget. I promised the kids, okay, tomorrow they don't have to come in until 11 o'clock in the morning. That's true. So when they tell you that, go, oh, no, that's true, all right? Because it's a celebration. I want our kids to have a good time. They spent 3 years here. They have done everything we've asked of them. So what we're going to do afterwards, we go to the dance. Kids have a good time to dance. You want to come down, chaperone, embarrass them, stand next to them. I did. Okay? My daughters just say, Dad, you're killing me. No boy's going to ask me to dance. And I went, I know. You're too little. You're too young. Don't do that. My wife would say, get over here. Get out of here. So yeah, they go there, and then if they want to go home and they want to sit up and talk or text their friends or do whatever they do on that Facebook, then let them sleep in, come back, okay, and around 11 o'clock, and we're going to have an informal fun. There's going to be talent show tomorrow, and we're going to have a DJ. Yeah, so we're going to have a good time. So that's true about 11 o'clock tomorrow. When we dismiss you, you promenade out. Go up. Just start going up, right up the steps, cross the second floor. That way the parents won't get all caught up in here. And you'll go down the steps on the second floor and go right into the cafeteria where the PTA's really worked hard, okay, at decorating this into a little semi-formal. The reason we do these things, okay, is because what we want to do is teach the kids what does a graduation ceremony actually look like, how do you dress, how do you conduct yourself. The other thing is these kids next year will go to high school and will have to go to their first homecoming. I want them to have an idea that, you know, that the homecoming is a semi-formal, okay, and we'll go from there. So, with that being said, one team, one heartbeat. We started this, I knew we were going to do this a long time ago, but it took a time to mature and get you ready for a one team, one heartbeat. What does it mean? And I'm going to ask you to go along with me at the very end and conclude this in a manner that I think would be very appropriate. With that being said, the One Team, One Heartbeat Award, it's a little bit of citizenship. It's a character edit award. It's a 10-point value system. It's everything around you. So, you know, being the principal, I get to, you know, I said, oh, you know, I told the 8th grade teachers, I said, send me that. You're the 8th grade teachers. You spend all the time with them. Rightfully so. The staff should pick them. And that being said, they sent it down, and I said, oh, well, hey, I'll help out. You want me to help out? I was up to 25 kids, and it was growing. I couldn't stop it. So they said, Tom, you're killing us, okay? I said, I know. So we went back to the drawing board, and this is what we came up with. And believe me, I think 25 is a light number. This 8th grade class has been just overwhelming with kids on leadership, character qualities. You know, there's different ways to lead, too. You know, you can be very boisterous and outgoing, like myself, all right? But there's always other, we used to say lead through example. You don't have to talk, you don't have to say one word. Just come to school every day, do the right things, lead by example. You don't have to be a cheerleader like me. It doesn't always mean that you got to have a microphone or stand up. It's nice when you do those things and you get verbal in your classroom, but you don't have to be. So, with that being said, Mr. Briggs, would you help me hand out the awards, please? All right. The very first one, we come to a conclusion, not 1 and not 25. We have 4 award winners for the One Team, One Heartbeat Award. The first person, would you please come up? Jed Sheridan. The next award winner, Annie Stevens. The next winner, Jarrett Moore. Our last recipient of the One Team, One Heartbeat Award is Tori Packer. These kids are a sample and an example of what we did with One Team, One Heartbeat. Please give them a round of applause. Okay, kids, you may go back and be seated. Final remarks. Final remarks. Brent asked me what the over-under is. You guys ever play the spot sheets? That's the high and that's the low. The low is 5 minutes, the high is 10. All right? Listen. Kids, your parents know this, so I'm going to leave you with a couple things and a couple thoughts. First of all, you are prepared. You are prepared to go to the next level. You're not ready to go to college. I'm not asking you to grow up. I'm asking you to be ready to go to high school. I'm asking you to go there with confidence that you came from a good school, good education, well-rounded education, parents and people in this audience that love you. You are ready. You use Heritage Middle School for a launching pad. This is your launching pad. And once you get up there and you reflect back on what do I need to do, my work ethic, all of these signs on the walls, it will come into play for you. Your 10-point value system will come back to haunt you. It's going to come down to a lot of things, kids. One of the things it's going to come down to is making choices. You're going to make choices as you move on in life. We all know that. When I say that your parents know something, they know life's not fair. We see that on the news every day. Life is not fair. So don't get into the whining spot where you say, oh, gee, it isn't fair. I get this from one of my teachers, and I'll read it forever to my own children. This is what fair is. Fair isn't everybody getting the same thing. Fair is everybody getting what they need in order to be successful. That's what you go after. You go after and you get what you need. That's why we rebuilt Heritage Middle School, to give you what you need. Because life isn't fair. Fairness is you go out and get what you need. The other thing is simply about making choices is attitude. I've had this for 30 years. I've read it every place I've ever been, as many kids as I can. Because coming from my background, there's a lot of things that count in life, but when you boil it right down, it comes down to an attitude. It comes down to an attitude, how will you approach life? I'm going to read this, and I don't like to read in public. It says attitude. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances. More important than failures, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, or a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change the past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% of what happens to me, but 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. Kids, that's what you want to go after. Have a good attitude. Have a good attitude. The last thing I'll leave you with is this. You want to talk about attitude? I want to introduce a couple, and I want to tell you why. I would like Mr. and Mrs. Keene, would you please stand up? Please stand up in the back, Mr. and Mrs. Keene. Please stand up. Please stand up, Mrs. Keene. Both of those are Mrs. Cousins' students. Both of those. All right? You've been around for a while, right? The reason I asked them to stand up is because I had their daughter 6 years ago when I started. And I told you the building was falling in, and the kids were digging out the trash. And at the end of the year, I was kind of dejected. I thought, man, I think I let these kids down. I don't think I got it done. I don't think I got the job done. And we went to an end of the year awards ceremony. And the superintendent came in, his name was Keith Richards at the time, and he says, and now I want to introduce to you your new principal at Heritage Middle School. And he announced my name, and those two people jumped up, and they cheered like I was the President of the United States. All right, good job, Mom, okay, great, thank you. And I went, wow, wow. And they led it with passion and enthusiasm. When the times were tough, they jumped up, and I never forgot that. You two people right there gave me the confidence to keep going, and I want to thank you. I'll leave you with this, and that's the 10th time I said it, I know. I think this is counting over here, okay, I know. 7 minutes, okay, I missed the low, going for the high. Students and parents, let me say it many, many times. Never, ever let a test score define who you are. You're much more than a report card. You're a human being with a good attitude that people love you, and you will go after life with a passion because you are more. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's more. We're not going to let our kids be defined by our test score. We're not going to let that happen. And I would like you to appease me one last time. We tell our children that we all one team, one heartbeat. I would like everybody to rise and stand on your feet. Please do that for me. Let's do it one last time. One team! One team! God bless you. Let's get these kids out of here. Let them move.